Hello and welcome back to Decidedly Vanilla. Now what have I got to show you today? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So why am I making a video? Well, because I'm going to show you something. But why would I have nothing? Of all the things that I could have, why would nothing be the thing that I choose to have? Well, the issue here is Dolan. And I don't mean Dolan's the issue. I mean definitely many cases Dolan is the issue. Yes, this we all know is true. But that's not what I mean. What I mean is Dolan had to move. Oh, by the way, did you notice this? We'll get more into this later. Dolan had to move. And you might be asking yourself, I wonder why Dolan had to move. To which you might reply, why are you asking me? I don't know. Why don't you ask bRanN? He's the one that brought it up. To which I might reply, yes. Why don't you ask me? And then you may go ahead and say, well, I'm asking you. Why did Dolan have to move? And the answer is quite simple. Although, I think I've just about complicated it as much as I could. Well, no, I probably could complicate it a little more, but that's not the point. Dolan knew that, you watch Clandlewood, sometimes his connection isn't as good as it could be. And so Dolan, being the wonderful server, hoster, administrator, holder person, there's probably a term for it. He decided that he would move at the top of a tower. Not at the top of a tower. That's not proper grammatically. To the top of a tower. So he had to take the server down for a short while, half the week. And in actuality, it wasn't his fault. He told Comcast, like, hey, Comcast, I'm moving to the top of this tower. You going to be able to set me up? And like, oh yeah, we install things at the tops of towers all the time. And so then they're like, okay, cool. That's not how you do it, is it? So like, okay, cool. We'll get it all set up. And then, do you know what happened? Of my halfway true, halfway made up story, I think you could guess. Yeah, they did not set it up. They did not set it up on time. Because they're jerks. It might not be because they're jerks that they didn't set it up on time, but they are most definitely jerks. I want some more sticks. So, yeah, I haven't had the time. The point of that story is to say, I haven't had the time that I normally typically would have to kind of do a few things here and there. But I did take the opportunity. Where is the dang wood? How about in the wood drawer? I don't want to use that wood, though. Let's use this wood. Do I have wood in here? Not dark oak. I don't want to use dark oak. I'm so picky. Dark oak is my favorite wood. But that's what I have. And I need to make all the things. How come I can't uncraft things? Because I actually have like a surplus of ladders right here that I don't need. Because I thought I was going to need way more. Okay, we'll go with this. This is probably way too many, too, but whatever. Yeah, we'll do it like that. So, yeah, I took advantage of not being on the server to work on a few things for the server that I could work on. And I even posted a little, we could call it a teaser of something that I worked on. So we'll take a look at that. And we'll walk over to the dungeon and talk about a few things that I want to place over there. Because that's what the stuff that I've worked on is for. Because I don't speak in complete sentences. And when I do, they're usually out of order. But the things that I worked on, since I had the opportunity, was things for the dungeon. Because we should actually get moving on that. and I actually had a lot of fun, and I was really excited. And I'm super psyched to show you in a little more detail what I have. So let's go over the dungeon. There we go. Now, let's go over the dungeon. And we're at the dungeon. Was that an awkward transition? I apologize if it was. And if not, great. So, just to refamiliarize yourself, this is the payment chest, 1 gold block per life. This is a sign that says only items found in the dungeon may be used. Checklist, empty inventory, pay gold, read the rules. And these are all the items that I saved for my zombie compadres. And I don't need to do that anymore because we agreed that on our server we can use command blocks if it is for things of a more complicated nature that and you can see server saved the world because I'm in op right now. Oh gosh, I really shouldn't interrupt my sentences. Command blocks. Using command blocks for more complicated things, but not just more complicated things, also things that are specifically minigame-ish. Well, not even minigame-ish. Directly, it has to be like a minigame, which essentially that's what this is. And if I still receive payment, that will only be because it's not fully automated, and I would still need to provide the material for what is the prize at the end, the one thing that the player gets to keep. I would love to fully automate this. Let's talk about that for a while. But the amount of work and effort to go through everything and fully automate it, I'd essentially have to have something. And it would be simple in that it's not complicated, but the fact that this is kind of like vanilla survival with command blocks means I would need to dig out the blocks, clear out the space, then I could switch real quick, get the command block, place it, put in the code, run, get all the redstone stuff, craft it up. I mean, because we would want to do it in survival to be legit, it makes a lot of the things much more difficult. So there would have to be a clock running, and it would have to be checking for someone here, and it would have to be checking for someone here, and it would have to be checking for someone here, and then when you're in here and it pops the 2 bad guys in, it would have to be checking for if you killed someone, and you'd have to calculate the range just right so it's only counting this person. If somebody were to wander outside through the jungle for whatever reason, that it wouldn't accidentally grab on and latch onto them and then start teleporting them. It's just... And then stuff like this, the lever room, if you saw Dolan's run through, essentially you come in here and you are trying to guess the right combination, and it's all hocus pocus. I, as the dungeon master, decide when and if they got the correct combination. And one final example of something that would be super complicated, the statue. And it's funny. It's funny because as I come in here, I'm expecting him to start posing me a riddle. But that's all scripted. That's all me reading dialogue. And then to detect if the player gave the right answer. There's things you could do. You could have items that are named answers, and one of them is the correct answer. But then it's not really a riddle. Then it's a multiple choice. But things we can do with command blocks is I can set all these chests up exactly the way I want them again, and I can make a command block, a button up here that will actually a button at somewhere at the start that will go through and pop a chest here with the items laid out exactly like that. And this one here, all the chests basically. Where is it? This guy. Basically, it could replace all the chests and replace all the monsters, and except I realized something that I would want to do. And that is one of the issues with the way this is designed. And if I were to redo it, what I would do is when you enter a room, it would go down so that you would have to kind of jump into the room, and it's not just this thing where you can kind of just back away. When the player passes this threshold, I totally could latch it again and put that up. But then if they die, that's like really mean, because then I'd have to go through and open everything again. But if you had to jump down, then there could be stuff here kind of in a pit, and so you'd be up here, you're like, where's the zombies? And then you got to fight them. But why not make it so you come in here, and then they appear. And I could control when they appear, so I don't need some complicated sensor make sure the player's right here. I could have the button that makes them appear up there. And I could also have, I still would want to read the story, but rather than having a piece of paper on my desk, so I'm sitting here trying to flip through things, hold on, and bumping the desk, and possibly making noises, and maybe bumping the mic a little. It's like, what are all those things? I could make it so the story could just come up here, and I could still read it. But then also it's on the screen, so it's almost like subtitles. And so I started working on some of this stuff. And so when we come back from the break, we will be in my creative world. And I'll show you some of the things that I have. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I think it turned out really well. All right. Let's see. I got a lot of stuff going on, and most of it's not labeled. Leather cap. Oh, this was experiments with something else. Bonk. Done with that. So, to start off, let's look at some of the story items. Some of these may be familiar. They've been rewritten a little. So basically, I would have a command block in the wall with the story bits, and I would activate it, and then I could read it. You've discovered the ruins of the abandoned Treefel temple. Long ago, this place was attacked by a fierce tribe of hatchet scavengers. Let's pop that back up. As the Treefel were hacked to pieces, they cursed the invaders with undeath. With nowhere left to go, they have made this their home. Dare you venture forth? So the same thing I did with Dolan, except I won't have to read it from a piece of paper. And here's for the little extra guard room, if you are so lucky to gain access to that with a randomizer. The beds in this room are made, and the smells in this room are unpleasant. I had a lot of fun with the colored text. Here's the statue. A voice begins to speak in your mind. It sounds ancient and wooden. As you listen, you also hear the sounds of a vast forest. I wanted a brown, but apparently that's not a color option. I swore it was. Here's for the lever room. I just had fun coloring random things just to, I don't know. This stuff is all made using a generator online, which I will link to in the description below. It's been very helpful. And this is what I had my little spoiler video about. I got the idea, and it's not completely unique, right? I mean, we've seen this in Zelda, where an enemy appears and there's a puff of smoke, and of course you need a sound effect to go along with it. So now this sound is a little jarring, I think, but for that reason I kind of like it. And so this is one of my custom minions that I made for the Treefel adventure. Let's get a diamond sword. He has a wooden hatchet and full leather gear. And I wanted to do full leather gear for the specific reason of it hides their default zombie colors, because they have the clothing on there. And without it, they look kind of derpy. I mean, even now you can kind of see the shirt. I mean, they're a zombie. That's how they're supposed to look. But I think it looks kind of dumb. Oh, yeah, and he's going to die. Sorry. Now, this guy, even if he's out in the sun, he will not die. And that's not just because he has a hat. Because if I could give this dude a hat, and if he can pick it up, he'll be fine. But the hat will slowly receive damage. His items, I believe, I think I set it up this way, are unbreakable. But he's also set at a drop chance of 0, so he will not drop any of the gear that I have given him. And so we have here our hatchet zombie minion. Now hold on, let me fix this so they're not spawning in the blocks. Okay, there we go. So here's my hatchet zombie minion, hatchet zombie soldier, and hatchet zombie commander. Now he has thorns and knockback, so that's going to be an interesting fight. And the beautiful thing is they're more better balanced. One of the first feedback items Dolan gave me after his run through the dungeon was, "Wow, bRanN, everything you do is so great and wonderful, and I just wish that I could be as great and wonderful as you all the time. Unfortunately, I can only be great and wonderful sometimes. But if I could be more like you, my life would be more complete than it is now." And his second piece of feedback was, wah, these guys are too hard, they hurt my feelings. And his third piece of feedback, which was actually useful, is he said, hey, it seems like the balance on the damage isn't quite right. And so based on that, I've given this dude a wooden hatchet, whereas the minion originally started out with a stone, and then that gives him a stone rather than an iron, which has the effective hit of the tier below of the sword. So he's essentially attacking you with a wood sword. And he has a golden axe, which is actually, I think it's the same. I think it's the same as that. And so he's actually hitting you for less than whatever wood would hit for. 4 maybe. Now the other thing is, with full leather armor, they are blocking a lot of the damage. I don't remember what it is. I calculated it out. But then I modified their max health. So a wood versus a minion, 1, 2, 3. Bam. And actually, I balanced it just so if you are if you're jumping and hitting on the down swipe, critical hits 1, 2. And by the way, that's a little trick. If you're not aware, if you're flying in creative, but you go down just a hair, Minecraft still counts you as hitting from above. So that's 3 hits on him with the wooden sword, if they're all critical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 if you're not. And then this guy, forget about it. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And rightfully so. But there will be the opportunity to get a stone sword. And I think for this particular dungeon, I'm going to take out the option of possibly building an iron sword. I thought that was kind of cool because you could collect an ingot from one chest and then from another and then get a stick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still kind of difficult, but for the final boss of the area, I think that's fine. I just feel like the iron sword kind of makes it too easy. And so this is just a better balance. I could balance it around an iron sword, but I kind of like that it's all low-level stuff, especially since you're facing zombies in leather gear. I think that works out better. And actually, I honestly kind of prefer using leather armor because, as you see, I can use colors to really distinguish the different peoples. And then once you're kind of used to it, once you've been introduced to a few of these guys, then you'll be all set. Now the commands for these guys are just like ridiculous. I'm just going to scroll left here for fun. These were made with a generator. And typically what I'll do is I'll set up a few things in Creative, and I'll jump into MC Edit, and I'll run a few filters, and I can basically change them that way. Then I can also open up the schematic in a tag editor and kind of tweak them. Even with this, I can come in, and what I did here, let's come over here. This is his generic max health. I was modifying this figure, spawning him in, seeing how many times I could hit him, and I kind of got what I felt was a good balance for them. But I didn't have to do too much work with these. These were all from a generator too, and it was amazing, and I'll link to that as well, because I think you will have some fun playing with that. It does load a little slowly, but it's pretty awesome. And here is a little something I'm just testing for the UHC that I've been talking about. I got a lot of the stuff worked out, but when I'm ready to talk about that, that'll probably be a different video. Not decidedly vanilla. Let's keep this decidedly vanilla, and let's get at least that first room set up to do this, because that first room is supposed to have 2 of these guys in it. Hey, don't be so close together, guys. So let's do that just for fun. And here's where I find the challenge of this. Now, for one thing, slightly related, is I kind of want to raise the roof on all these areas, because it just feels so cramped being only 2 high. And so I might be doing that kind of as I work on each room. But for this one, the introduction happens here, and then you walk through here, and then something happens. Things appear. A battle happens. And this should be filled with 2 zombie hatchet minions. We'll just close these doors so... Well, I'm not quite ready to spawn them, but when I am, so they don't escape. And so the challenge here is going to be space. Now, a great tip, a great way to find out are things going to be powered the way I expect, is to use these lamps. And so this is going to be a button, so I can activate it as many times as I want. But you're going to flip this, you're going to press the button, it's going to power this, which will power this, and we can see it's not interfering with this other redstone, so that's good. This is going to be our little welcome message. This will say, I'm scrolling on my text over here, you pass through a short hallway into a small room and ... We're going to have just a tiny delay that's barely noticeable, but it'll be enough where it doesn't just all happen at once. Might even make it go like that. That should still be fairly instant. And then what's happening here is it's powering this guy, which then powers these guys. And because we're going to have 2 in here, we're going to have 1 do particles for one guy, 1 do particles for the second guy, and then we're going to have 2 more to spawn, the first dude and the second dude, and then this will be the sound. That might not be which block does what, but essentially that's what's happening. I kind of wanted to do 2 sounds, but then what I would do is have 3 blocks here, and then a delay and 3 blocks again. And this just makes it a little bit smaller, and then we have a final little thing that's going to say, 2 hatchet zombie minions appear. Okay, so let me, and this is why I'm op still, give me Minecraft command block. Bam. Except because I am in survival, 1 will not do. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So please give me... Come on. Type the right number. 6. Blunk. these are all going to be command blocks. Doop, 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 doop. And now I will do a little bit of witchcraft to get the commands into these blocks. And we'll cover up the wall. And we'll see how it looks. Okay, let's see if I can push this button and pay attention to what's happening at the same time. And read the dialogue as if I was narrating the whole thing. It says room activity. I'm not sure what I want to put there. I don't think they can read the signs from down there. So if they can't, I can just be a lot more specific. But haha, nice. You pass through a short hallway into a small room, and 2 hatchet zombie minions appear. Nice. Oh my gosh. I could just, like, spam the button, and then they would die for sure. Look at these jerks. Mm-hmm. I noticed one problem, though. Game rule. Command block output false. And that will get rid of a lot of that text that was saying this happened, this happened. Pass through a short hallway into a small room, and 2 hatchet zombie minions appear. And oh my gosh, I completely forgot. I'm going to need to remember all of my commands that are displaying this text. They're just displaying it to everyone. I can't look in there to show you. But basically, if there was other people on the server right now, thank goodness there isn't, it would be displaying it to all of them. And that would be bad. Because they're on there trying to work on something, or worse, record their own video. And then all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, what's happening? All right, let's clear these guys out. Now, they're balanced against wood and stone. But how do you think they're going to do against an iron smite 4? Probably shouldn't last very long. Are they going to even come at me? Come on, guys. Nothing. What do you want? Nothing. This is free experience. I probably shouldn't be getting experience from such a thing. Nah. It's only a tiny bit of levels. It's fine. And you come in here and you press this and you get the wool and it's yellow, so then you only get this way. Wow. Hosed by my own system. Yeah. I gotta fix that up. Okay, but that's exciting. Are you guys excited? Let's watch it one more time. One more time for kicks and giggles. Mostly kicks. And the beauty is I could leave them in there. I actually have them set so they're persistent, so they will not despawn. Actually, that could be bad. What if I unleash something super powerful and it escaped from one of my dungeons? That'd be interesting. Oh, so cool. It's weird that they appear that direction, though. I might be able to fix that. I'll look into it. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Oh, no, I gotta do this proper. This has been bRanN. I will see you next video. Have a great day.